All right, today we are going to talk about creating thank you cards to send to your Amazon customers. Nowadays, it is becoming more and more challenging for us Amazon sellers to get reviews on our products. But one thing that came up over and over and over again over the last few months is it's been really, really challenging to get reviews. I filmed a video last month on how to get reviews in 2018. So basically in our networking and through multiple sellers that were up on stage, there was one tactic that kept coming up over and over again, which is, funny enough, technology from probably several hundred years ago, which is handwriting letters, thank you cards, and sending them out in the mail. So it's at least a 100-year-old technology, as long as the postal service has existed, right? People have been mailing thank you cards to customers. It's been used by virtually every industry on planet Earth. I know people in real estate, in the automotive industry, car dealerships, things like that, who religiously use thank you cards to get business. Let's say this is your product and you're a newer seller and it's a good product, but you got a couple of bad reviews. You're not near what your competitors are doing. You're at only 4 stars or something like that, and you need more reviews coming in. But the emails going out to your customers through Seller Mail or Feedback Genius, they're getting filtered. People are opting out. It's more and more challenging to reach your customers. Definitely watch my video on how to get reviews in 2018. But one thing that you can do is actually write to your customers. So there's a couple ways you can do this. So if you're going to do handwritten letters, I recommend you order some nice high quality thank you cards from Amazon, and I'll post a link to this particular product. We ordered a bunch of these. These are very, very high quality, and they're not expensive at all. So in this, at the time of this video, it's $22 basically for 100, which is really good. It's 22 cents a piece. Very nice, high quality. This is thick cardstock. It's actually got, as you can see in this image, it's actually pressed in there, so you can tell it's thick quality. Really nice. These are not cheap cards. They're inexpensive, but they're not poor quality. Very nice. So we're gonna grab these, and I'll provide a direct link to these products for handwritten ones. The other option is you could use a service. Such as, this is Vistaprint, and Vistaprint is just, everyone knows about Vistaprint. They've been around for probably 15 years. You can get, business cards made, anything, t-shirts, I mean, they print anything. And so I just kind of banged this card out last night in about 10 minutes, uploaded a photo to one of their templates, super simple, nice family photo on the front there. And then the inside is pretty simple. Why am I using an Amazon link instead of a short link? A short link would be like tiny URL or something like that, with less characters to physically type when the person goes to Amazon. We just ordered a bunch of these and a bunch of these, and we're gonna split test. We're gonna see if it's better to have this pre-printed with a hand-addressed envelope versus an actual full 100% handwritten thank you card, and which one gets better results. But back to it, why use this Amazon link instead of a tiny URL? This is just my opinion, my theory, and we'll split test this as well. When a customer sees Amazon.com, that gives them a lot more credibility. They know they're going to Amazon. It's less likely for someone to type in an address that they're not familiar with, tinyurl.com/abc123. That, there's still, even though, there's some credibility because they know you, they purchased your product, there's still a little bit, perhaps reluctance to go to a website like that. Because, you get spam emails like, hey, click on this mysterious link, and it takes you to some weird site with, with virus in it or something. So I'd prefer to just give them the credibility of Amazon.com. This is our storefront right here. So that's why we chose that. You could also, we could split test it and just say, here's a video on how to leave a review on Amazon, which we have filmed that video. We're running Facebook ads to it. So we could do that as well. You can split test whatever you want to say. I'm not going to dictate in this video what to say in your card because we're just starting out and testing this today. And I'm sure that this process will evolve and kind of change over the upcoming months. But anyway, that's what we're going to try for now. I want to keep this video short. So those are kind of the two options, handwritten versus professional service. Now, in this case, Vistaprint, we ordered these cards. I believe they were 70 cents a piece. Vistaprint has different tiers. So if you buy 25 of these cards, then they charge you $1 a piece. If you order 100, they only charge you 70 cents a piece. And it goes up from there. So we ordered 100. We'll start with 100. And that includes the card and an envelope, a plain white envelope. And then we will have someone hand address each one of these and put a stamp on it. Okay, so that's that. You could also use a service such as Postable. So in this case, we did a very similar one. We just created a card in Postable, and it's pretty much the exact same thing. I think it's slightly different handwriting, but the difference here is Postable will actually mail them out for you. So they're not hand addressed, right? So the address on the outside of the envelope is going to be printed from a computer. Even if you choose a font that kind of looks like handwriting, it's still not a real hand addressed envelope. So, and also these are a lot more expensive. I built the card and it looks like it's going to be about $3 to $3.50 per card, including postage, to send it out. So I'm looking at, okay, well, what's most cost effective? This is like, let's say $3 or $3.50. This one's 22 cents plus postage is about 50 cents, I believe, in the US right now. Plus whatever you pay your person to write them. So this one's definitely the least expensive way to go. This one's pretty cheap as well. This is 70 cents plus we paid for the hand addressing. We're not going to pay as much because they're not writing all this text, but we'd pay, whatever it is, 10 or 20 cents to address the envelope and then a 50 cent stamp. So, this one's definitely going to be the cheapest. This one's going to be a little bit more expensive, but then you have the benefit of a photo and less labor to type all this stuff out or write all this stuff out. And then the full service where they mail it out for you is going to be a lot more expensive. So those are kind of the three options. Of course, there's other websites, but these are just ones that I checked out. So let's talk about how to access your customers' information. There's two ways to do this. The first way to do it is when you're in Seller Central and you go to Orders and then Manage Orders, and it will pull up, your typical orders page here. So you could do an advanced search. You could search by SKU or by ASIN. I'm not going to explain a lot about how this works. Obviously, it's your business. You need to learn how Seller Central works. But basically, you run a report and you can pull up a list of customers that way. If you click on the order that's been shipped out, it'll be different color. The grade one means it hasn't been shipped yet. So you want to go to one that's already been shipped. You click on the order number. It gives you the customer's mailing address right here. And you would obviously just go through one by one and hand address those envelopes. This is a very time-consuming process. I would not recommend doing that route, but I wanted to give you this route in case you don't have access to Manage by Stats. If you do have access to Manage by Stats, I highly recommend you use this program. I talk about them in a lot of my videos because they are, in my opinion, the best Amazon seller tool out there. They have so much functionality. So what we do is we'll click on Customers, and then we're going to go to Generate Report. And then what you can do is if you have multiple brands, you can click on your brand. You can choose which products you want to put in there. So I click on Customer List. I selected a date range. Obviously, we don't want to go back to like 4 years ago and mail those people thank you cards because that's just weird to get a thank you card for something you purchased 4 years ago. So we'll probably go back about 6 months. So let's just arbitrarily choose September 1st and then through today, right? So, 6, 7 months, something like that. And then we will create a CSV file, and that will be generating. And it usually takes just a minute for that to finish generating. Okay, so here we have our customer list. And so this gives us a lot of information about each of these customers. And we're actually going to delete a lot of this information because this is all the information that we get about these customers. I'm not going to walk you through all these different fields. You can learn how this stuff works later, but it's got first name, Amazon email address, all kinds of stuff that you don't need to mail them a letter. Okay, so all we really need is we need first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code. Everything else is irrelevant. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to delete all of these extra fields. All right, so I've deleted all those extra fields. So now we have first name, second name, address. We can actually stretch these out to read a little bit better. Address 2, if they have an apartment number, that's important. City, state, zip code. All right, so this is like, you can totally use this to write letters now, couldn't you? I like to kind of stretch these out a little bit. And we'll go ahead and save that file. So I'm just going to save. Usually get this funky warning. You could email this file to your assistant, whoever's going to write your letters or address your letters. And they could, what I would recommend is they use some kind of a ruler. I mean, this is old school, guys. They could just cross these out as they write letters, okay? So they're writing them, they're crossing them off the list. If you did this by SKU, meaning this is a list of only one type of product, then it would make it a lot easier to do it that way, because you could just have one list for each type of product and you would write, hey, thank you for buying our dog leash. Thank you for buying our dog leash. Thank you for buying our dog leash, and just check them off the list. You could even link directly to that product URL on Amazon rather than like a storefront. But if you're going to do it for multiple products and you're going to be a bit more generic, thank you for buying our product on Amazon. Here's a link to our storefront, whatever. Either way, you just cross these off and just make sure that you're writing to the right, right customer, correct product, etc. You can figure out your own system. If you're going to use this file to upload into something like Postable or send out cards or one of those automated services, you might have to reformat this slightly to work with their system. So that's really about it, guys. I mean, we're going to try this out. It's pretty straightforward. The last thing I would say is, in terms of actually doing this to work with your staff, what we're going to do is we're going to have these shipped directly to our assistant's house, wherever they may live, and they don't have to live in my city. When you're ordering stuff online, it's great because you can ship it directly to your assistant. I can PayPal them some money and they can go to the post office and buy stamps, or they can order it online. I know there's online postage services as well. And then they would just keep track of how many letters they're writing, and I would pay them per letter or per envelope. And then what we'd want to do is just kind of really test how our reviews are coming in after mailing these out. So we'll probably send out like 50 or 100 at a time. Then you just want to work your way backwards in time from the most recent purchases, probably starting at least 3 days ago. You don't want to send out a letter to someone who just got the product today, right? You'd want to give them a couple of days. So just kind of keep that in mind, the timing of when the letter arrives at the customer's house versus when the product arrived at their house. Again, I wouldn't recommend going back more than 6 months or so, because by then the customer has probably forgotten about you, probably doesn't even remember ordering that product, and it would be weird getting a thank you card. I hope you found this video helpful, but this is really good customer service. And this is something that, to be honest with you, most of the Amazon sellers out there are not going to go through the trouble of doing this, because this takes work. This takes thinking like a real company and real communication. And it's just great customer service. So wish you the best of luck. Bye-bye.